I'm stuck. And I'll show you what I'm dealing with on this cloudy Sunday afternoon. It's amazing what you can do. It's 20,000. Now, I'm a mess, guys. I'm frustrated, I'm annoyed, whatever you want to call it. It's not good. Stuck. I'm absolutely stuck. And bear with me here for a second. So, with any of these bamboo crafts, or anything in life, it seems, it is the simplest things that kind of you can get stuck on, and it can kick your butt, and it'll drive you crazy until you figure out a solution, or a way to round it, or a way to solve the problem. I mean, look at it. Look. Broke it, pulling it back off that socket. So I kind of left the shop in a mess. I've got sockets and sandpaper. I mean, I've got stuff everywhere here. It's a mess. But I want to share with you what I'm dealing with. And what I'm dealing with is using CA glue, okay, for a finish, a good shiny glass finish. Now here's the issue. To do a really nice finish on my rings, what most people do, a good example of this is like when they turn the pins on a lathe. I've watched several videos on it, other people doing it, showing you how to do it, and it's very simple if you have a lathe, okay? Now, there are available lathes that you can get that are fairly cheap, which we have tried, and we found out very fast why they're that cheap, because you can't really change the chuck on them, you can't do what you need to do, okay? To get a good lathe, you're at least hundreds, you're at least in the hundreds. We don't have that kind of money to throw around on stuff, especially if we have an ounce, just 1 ounce of hope or confidence that we can use our common household tools such as a drill, okay? Now, part of that is me being cheap, I'll admit to that. But the other part of that is I'm kind of a hillbilly, and if I can, and that's kind of the whole reason why I'm so obsessed with this bamboo. It's not produced in China. It's not plastic. It's not the rich man's material. It's a natural resource. That's one of the reasons why I love the bamboo. So, it taps into a little bit of my hillbilly, survival type of stuff, okay? So I'll admit part of it is me being cheap, not going out and spending hundreds of dollars on a lathe. And here's the thing. What am I going to do with it besides that? I might have other, crafts that come up that maybe I'll use a lathe for, but I mean, I know that I can use a drill. I know it, okay? It's not like there's this like special technique or, that requires the lathe. It's just all about, efficiency when it comes to using a lathe. Just like, for example, instead of just using sandpaper, you could use a grinder on some materials. Some materials you can't, but to get the point across, it's not always required to have these nice, big, special tools when you can just kind of maybe spend more time using your hands or using a drill, that sort of thing. So, to show you the problems I'm dealing with, I think what I'm going to do, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. How does he say it?
Tell you what.
Tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. We'll just take a piece of bamboo here, and I'll just cut a ring, right? Now this is just a scrap piece, but I'm gonna cut it, and I'm gonna sand it down just enough so we can see. Actually, I've already got one. I've got a little practice ring here I did. Now this is still pretty green, but after some time, it'll turn to more of a brown, okay? I can speed that up, or we can add a little bit of flavor to it with a torch. But sanding it down, you can get down to the fibers, and honestly, I kind of like the natural fibers without any color, stain, or anything at all. It's one of my favorite, so far, it's one of my favorite styles visually. But it's really hard to beat. Like, I'm not gonna want or wear a purple or pink ring, but visually, aesthetically, the blackberry stain is just, it's incredible. It doesn't matter if we paint it with whatever paint we want, or we don't paint it at all. The problem is the finish. The problem I'm having has to do with the finishing process that I've been using, or been trying with the CA glue. Now, I have been able to do it successfully numbers of times, but just doing it and having a finish on it is not there yet. And every time I've done a finish, I've seen little imperfections, whether it be like a little line in my finish, or it'll be uneven, and I know you can wet sand it and you can sort of make it perfect, and that's what we got to do. But the problem I'm having with my process with this drill is, so currently I'm using whatever I had around the shop, which was electrical tape, as kind of like a shim, because they don't make sockets. I have so many sockets, and I promise you, for a size 9 finger, and then like me, I'm like a 13.5 size finger, they just don't, you're just not gonna have a socket for each ring to be able to work the outside diameter of the ring and the inside of the diameter of the inside diameter of the ring. So I've been using electrical tape, okay? Well guys, I mean, hello, a CA glue is glue, right? So depending on how long that finishing process takes, what I have found, very frustratingly, is that the glue will bond to the socket and that tape, and will completely ruin your ring. This glue is so strong that I have broken a ring trying to get it off of that tape. Broke it. And the tape, even with a pair of like tweezers, trying to get that stuck tape off the inside of the ring is like impossible. So I have been in like deep thought and concentration, trying to think of some sort of a solution to keep the glue from sticking to my tape, okay? So, huge shout out to a family member. Actually, I was talking to them about it because they actually want one of the rings that I'm making, and gives me an excuse to make a ring, which I love. And they mentioned wax or like because I said, is there like a non-stick paper? And they said, yeah, wax paper. I think wax paper. And I thought, wax paper. So I looked up online, I searched, you know, more into it, like does glue stick to wax? Why doesn't it stick to wax? What else is non-stick, you know? And because my thought after that was, you know what? I could use one of my polishing sticks, and I could actually polish my spindle, whatever you want to call this, on my drill so that the glue doesn't stick to it. Then I thought, well, maybe. So that's an option, right? So that's still an option. But then I Googled I forget how I Googled it, but it was basically, what does glue not bond to? And one of the answers was Teflon. And if it's non-stick, then maybe we can pull off what these guys are doing with a lathe and their non-stick bushings. Maybe we can pull that off using Teflon tape. I haven't tried it yet, so we're here together. I'm gonna grab some Teflon tape. I've got a bunch of it, I think, or I did. And we're gonna just take the tape, we're gonna put some glue on it and see what it does. So if I can remember right, I had some Teflon tape in here. Yep. And I don't have much. But, I mean, am I being stupid right now? Is this not the right kind of Teflon tape? Is this not the right type of Teflon that is non-sticky for glue? You know, I have been known to be dumb in my life and make mistakes, mental errors. So it wouldn't be out of the normal if I'm totally misunderstanding what I read online. We're gonna find out together if I'm, you know, maybe either misunderstanding or whatever. But it has something to do with the material that the tape is made out of. Something with the chemical process, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, guys. I'm not a scientist. I just happen to be trained in rocket science. Just makes me a guy that's brave enough to try things, make mistakes, learn from it, and get better. You know what I mean? That's what we're doing here. And I apologize for this mess, guys. There's stuff everywhere in here. I'm not going to be able to function until I figure this out. So now here's a little warning that I need to let you guys know about right off the bat. Whenever you use this stuff is like a chemical, okay? And it doesn't mix well with cloth. And I found that out the hard way. And I had heard this in the past, but I forgot. You may be able to see on my finger right there, basically what I did like a dummy is I put a drop of this on my finger while I had these gloves on. Guys, CA glue and cloth together equals fire, all right? This is not mentioned in any of the videos I've watched where they use CA glue as a finish. And I couldn't believe the fact that it wasn't mentioned. But like I said, it's one of those things a lot of people just know. I remember it from years ago, someone mentioning it as a, you know, like a safety tip or hazard. But when you don't deal with this stuff every day, you don't remember that kind of stuff. And I was, you know, dumb, put a drop on my finger while I had these gloves on. And literally, guys, it started smoking. And it just burned right down into my finger. I took my gloves off real quick, ran some water on it, cleaned it up real good. It burned like you know what. Put a Band-Aid on it, a couple days. It blistered over and peeled off, and here we are. So I just wanted to share that really, really important tip. This can cause a fire, guys. This stuff right here is not a joke. This is serious. This stuff can cause a fire if it comes in contact with like normal cloth. Something to do with the moisture in the cloth and the chemistry involved. Just don't let this contact cloth or you're gonna get smoke and possibly a really bad fire. So now with that said, what you should probably be wearing is like rubber gloves. I currently don't have any rubber gloves. I ordered some on Amazon. They're not going to be here for a while, but so if you have some rubber gloves around the house, that'd be good. Another thing you can do is if you've got some of those little Ziploc bags that come in stuff, which I keep throwing away like a dummy. I could be using those to go over my fingertips. That's a good tip. You can use like a plastic bag and make like fingertip cover protector thingies. But we're just going to be really careful right now, and all we're going to do, hopefully you can see what I've got going on here, and maybe I'll show you what happens if you put this on cloth. But for safety reasons, it's probably not a test we should be doing. Now the good news is it looks like that one closed up. So this glue comes with this little like tool. This little tool, it's got a needle on it. And what you do is you stick it right there in the top. You pierce that, right? Pierce that to get it to go down in there. Real good and far. And what that does is that opens that right back up. Maybe, maybe not. It may not have went down in far enough. But what you can do, we're testing. We're doing a little scientific test here, okay? First thing we need to do is just make sure there's no like crazy chemical reaction. Can you see what's going on here? Can you see it? So I've got a piece of Teflon here. I'm about to drop a piece of this glue right on it. And we're gonna see what it does. Okay, do you see that? Now, we know that it'll glue it to things, all right, because it'll stick to wood. That's pretty much what we needed to know right there. And that's not good. I don't know what to do, guys. I really don't know what to do. I don't know what we're gonna do to solve this problem. Non-stick bushings, which, you know, you can make those. I mean, that's not really a far-fetched thing. I mean, you could do like a DIY non-stick bushing or whatever, but I just really don't want to. You know, I want to be able to just do this with common tools, like right on the spot. And now, so yeah, so it's frustrating, guys. We may just, yeah, that's not gonna work. This stuff's sticking. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. I'm stuck. I am stuck on this part. I really am. And it's getting frustrating because it's such a simple, stupid thing. It's like, what the heck? You know what I mean? It's just so simple. Like right now, you know, this is a bigger ring, okay? There's absolutely no problems with putting the finish on this ring without it contacting. I can keep it off. I can keep it from going on the socket and tape. But when you get into like the smaller rings for women, or just the smaller rings, I'm not judging, you know, just be whoever you want, do whatever you want. So I'm not, you know, but when you get those small rings on here and you go to put that finish on, it quickly goes all around that ring and goes inside and underneath the ring. And it's much harder to control where that finish goes on a smaller ring. So, you know, I'm stuck. I'm absolutely stuck right now. I know that I'm overthinking it, and I know that I'll eventually come up with a solution for this problem. And I just, for some reason, I'm not thinking about it. I can't figure it out right now. What can I put on my socket? What can I put on my socket that if I get glue on it, right? If I get some of my finish on that, the ring will still come off of it. It won't be glued to it. You know, that's just where it's at, guys. You know, like I said, if I had a lathe, which are $1 million, that's an exaggeration, but they're expensive. A good lathe, you're gonna be at least in the hundreds, okay? But if I had one, I could use those non-stick bushings and snug them up on each side of the ring, and that probably, most likely, would solve my problem. This is the problems you run. This is the kind of stuff you run into when you start doing this DIY stuff. And like I said, it doesn't stop me from being able to make the rings, but it's a problem that it's happened at least twice now in the probably about 10 rings that I've made. It's a problem. So what do I do? How do I get this finish? Because here's the thing. You could take a brush, right? You could just take a brush, a good finishing brush, and apply the finish with a brush, right? And so you wouldn't even need like it to be on a drill. You wouldn't even need it to be on a lathe. You could just paint it just like anything else with your finish, okay? That could be very good on a large craft that you can kind of, you know, do in spots and stuff like that. But we're dealing with a ring. A ring is jewelry, and it has to be pretty much perfect. You can't, you know, you can't have any spots where, you know, you can't have any inconsistencies. It needs to be absolutely perfect. So you would still need like a lathe with the nonstick bushings on each side so that you can, you know, just, you know, put your finish on where you want it. And, you know, because if you can't just hold it, right? You can't hold the ring and put your finish on it. So you need some kind of like mount where it's like you can see and access where you want your finish, but then not touch it. I mean, look at it. Look, broke it, pulling it back off that socket. Let me tell you something. We don't quit. These are happy accidents, okay? We're not defeated. We're not going to say we can't, because can't never could do nothing, okay? We got a little speed bump here we got to figure out, guys. And I need your help. I need your help to figure it out. I'd love you to help me solve this problem. It would be awesome if I could just solve this simple thing that I'm overthinking. I think I'm overthinking it. It may be, you know, a little tougher of a problem. I don't know, but it's definitely a problem that I'm stuck on right now. So we can't have this, guys. We cannot have that. I mean, all that time and progress is gone for this ring. That whole, I probably spent maybe an hour or something on this. Help me out, guys, if you can. Give me a solution for this problem I've got. So thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one.